Hey, we are back in the building with another episode of Get Into It with Tami Roman. Now, listen, soulmates, I appreciate you joining me tonight. And of course, you know, like I hate to say it every time we get together, but you know that I have another great episode for you. I mean, that's just what we do around here on Get Into It. And I do want to reiterate, don't forget, this week we're going to be in my kitchen at my house because I had to ship my beautiful FOXSOUL backdrop and it has not gotten here yet. So you guys, it's in the kitchen, okay? It's gonna be what it's gonna be. But I'm happy that you're here because let me tell you something. My special guest tonight is the legendary actress Lynn Whitfield. Now, she most recently starred in the hit drama Greenleaf, which I loved, on OWN, but she has a successful career in film and TV shows and so much more. So I cannot wait to talk to her. Y'all remember her from Thin Line, okay? Don't act like you don't know. And later in the show, I'm going to help you guys out by answering some of your questions in my Ask Tammy segment. Now, this is where I give advice to you on your drama that's going on in your life. Yeah, I'm real clear with the advice that I give too. You present your problem and I'm gonna come straight at it with what you need to do. That's coming up later, but I'll also be sharing the Power Minute, which you guys know is my favorite segment of the show because I love to leave you with words that are gonna uplift and inspire you. But first, I got some stuff I got to get off my chest. It's my unpopular opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, an internet troll tried to attack our beloved Phylicia Rashad, who has starred in TV hits like Empire, the classic comedy, The Cosby Show. Now, Phylicia's name was trending on Mother's Day as one of the most loved moms on TV. But one Twitter user, just one, all it takes is one, decided to go low and attack the actress online by saying Claire Huxtable was an enabler of the longest and most prolific drug rape predator in the U.S. history, Bill Cosby. And you know who showed up, right? Because, you know, that's what we're going to do. We're going to show up for hours. Black Twitter. Okay, we said, boom, guess who stepped in the room? We were not having that. And we had to defend the award-winning actress, stating, Phylicia Rashad is an actress and not responsible for Bill Cosby's actions. She worked with him professionally, and that's it. Now, for anyone who wants to drag our legends, here's a word for you. Particularly about Phylicia Rashad, okay? I grew up watching her on The Cosbys, and we have since, y'all have come out with information about Bill. And you can't hold any person accountable for the actions of another if they were not involved. She is not Ghislaine Maxwell, okay? She was not out there scouting for women for him to drug and rape. Okay, she was not a part of that. So you cannot try to drag her into his mess because you wouldn't want anybody to do that to you. You know, everybody has to be accountable for their own actions. And Bill is now in prison. Okay, and he's taking. They have made him take accountability for his actions by sentencing him, which has nothing to do with Miss Phylicia. And you've got to leave Phylicia, Debbie. There's certain people you just don't mess with. You know what I'm saying? May she rest in peace. Cicely Tyson was one of these. Certain people you can't, Viola, you can't talk about Viola. Particularly for me, you can't talk about Mary J. Blige or Halle Berry. You know, like there's certain people that you just cannot mess with. But I am glad that Black Twitter stepped in and defended Phylicia because you're not going to tie her legacy and the great work that she has done in our community outside of being an actress, her philanthropy work and just being very hands-on in her community and educating people on the skill set of acting with her classes. You're not going to diminish her legacy just because she worked on a show with Mr. Cosby. That's what we're not going to do. So, award-winning singer and actress Andra Day made a stunning admission about her emotional well-being in a recent interview. She revealed that she had been dealing with porn and sex addiction before playing the iconic role of Billie Holiday in a biopic that won her a Golden Globe this year. And she added that she did not want the role of Billie to be overly sexualized. And Andra said, I feel now after playing Billie that I'm honoring her and the strength that is femininity. I'm definitely in a healthier place to enjoy that because I'm outside of the addiction, if you will. Andra Day is very talented, and it took a lot of guts to admit that she had a problem. So my question to you, soulmates, is how honest are we about our mental health? Here are my thoughts. I was wondering, because for me as an actress, I have never done nudity. And I commended her on being able to do that in the Billie Holiday movie, especially this being her first big thing as an actress and just bearing it all. Now I see that she was watching porn. So if you living in that space, then yes, you're going to be able to bear all of that. I'm just joking. Don't take what I just said seriously, people. For Andra, I appreciate the fact that she came out and that she was very vulnerable with what she was dealing with. Porn is an addiction, and a serious one that sometimes people don't acknowledge, and we heard many, many years back, Kirk Franklin even said he had a porn addiction. You can get sucked into that. Now, I wouldn't say that I'm addicted, but I have watched more movies than I should have in the past, okay? And so I'm glad that she has admitted it so that other people that look up to her can also, if they're facing this, feel comfortable enough to come out to be able to protect their headspace and their mental space. I definitely applaud her for that. Now she says she's outside of the addiction. She was butt naked on the Billie Holiday thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's freeing in and of itself. So I congratulate her, and I'm glad she's on the other side of the addiction. I definitely feel like the more we come out and the more we speak about things that we're dealing with, it's going to help the entire Black community to stop judging each other, and stop putting our 2 cents in on other people's situations that are battling certain addictions that you didn't even know were addictions, So I'm proud of you, Andra Day. And I'm going to go ahead on and tell y'all, while I got your attention and we speaking about addictions. Smoking is an addiction as well. And I've been trying to kick it because I feel like I need to say this because I had quit smoking last year. And I don't want somebody to see me out somewhere with a cigarette in my hand and be like, now she lied. No, I quit smoking. And I had quit smoking for 8 months. And then the situation happened with my house. And I didn't know what else to do. And I backslid. I was weak. And I started smoking again. So if you see me outside with a cigarette, don't judge me because people are dealing with things that you have no idea about. Okay. And that's just real talk. I'm going to try to quit again. I'm going to try it again. But in the meantime, have a lighter in your purse for me. So if you see me, I could just borrow yours. Now, relationships are never easy, and it takes a lot of courage to walk away and move on. If you are married, divorce is the final step to cut all ties, right? But that process can take a while. So if you are single, there is a good chance that you may meet someone who is separated but not yet divorced. It really can be tricky as we try to maneuver through relationships, right? But It's tricky, especially if you are really attracted to the other person. The question becomes, should you date someone who is separated? I feel like I'm a broken record. Y'all know how I feel about this. And it does not change. When a person, let me tell you something. When you at work, right? And you decide that you don't like that job, right? Most of y'all, there's not much a person can say or do when you make up in your mind that you are quitting. You gets on down the highway, right? You say, I don't want to be here no more. I'm out. That's how these people need to do with these divorces. Yes, some of them can take a long time, but when you make up in your mind that you do not want to be with that person anymore, they shouldn't take a long time. Okay? You both know you don't want to be together. Go ahead on and handle that paperwork. Separation to me is like when you at your job and you like, well, child, I can't leave one till I get one. So I'm gonna sneak out and call in sick a couple days. I'm taking a little vacation time and I'm gonna go ahead on an interview. And then when the people offer me this job over here, then I'm gonna come back and quit this. And that's what they doing to you ladies in these relationships. They don't necessarily know that they want to leave the situation that they're in because it is a final step. So they testing the waters with y'all. That's why I said, make these men be accountable to the decisions that they have made. You're married? Okay, stay married and work on your relationship. Oh, okay, you don't want to be over there no more? You separated, child, go ahead on and get that divorce. And then if you're still interested in me and I'm still interested in you, then we can, come together and see what we can build. But until then, you really are building on quicksand. Because at any moment he could say, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead on and get back with my wife. And then you've been dealing with this man because you thinking that he was separated. At any moment she could say, I thought that I liked you, but my husband ain't all that bad. So I'm just gonna stay with him. We got the kids, all of that. So, he takes care of the family. So I'm gonna just stay over with him. You're standing in quicksand. And until they present you with a situation where it feels like solid ground, okay, then you need to leave them alone and avoid everyone getting hurt in this type of entangled arrangement. That's a new word. The arrangement versus entanglement, entangled arrangement. Run with that. How important is sex in your relationship? I recently came across the question in an article which also stated that many people are not sexually fulfilled by their partner. If that is the case, who's at fault for not communicating what they need or want in the bedroom? I don't know, child, because I'm sexually fulfilled. I get all that I need, and we've had conversations, and he gets all that he needs. So what needs to happen is you need to speak with your partner about what will please you, what excites you, what keeps the romance going. That's the problem. People float through life, and they don't want to have the hard, difficult conversations. When you're in a relationship, that's the one person that you should be able to trust with every emotion that you're feeling. If you're scared to sit him down and say, look now, I don't need 45 minutes. Okay? You don't got to be on top of me for 45 minutes. Can you handle a good 20? He might then say, well, at least 30, babe. Okay, and then we compromise. But you got to have the tough conversations. If you got to be able to say, he got to be able to say, you're putting your teeth on it. Okay? When you down there, you putting your teeth on it. It's not supposed to be no teeth. It's supposed to be all lips. Okay? And for some of y'all that's got them fake chiclet teeth, maybe you could put a little gum on it. I don't know. But you got to be able to talk to your partner about every single thing. And that's my advice to you. If you're not being fulfilled, let them know how they can assist you with that. male or female. All right, y'all, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back, and we'll be joined by the great Lynn Whitfield when we return. Welcome back to Get Into It with Tami Roman. Soulmates, listen, let me tell you something. I don't think you really understand what's about to happen. My next guest has entertained and educated us with memorable roles in Eve's Bayou, The Josephine Baker Story, and most recently, Greenleaf. I am so excited to have her here with us today. Please welcome Hollywood legend, Lynn Whitfield. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're here. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
You know, Mother's Day was last week, and I know that you are very close with your daughter, Grace.
Yeah.
Did you get to celebrate Mother's Day with her?
Oh, I did. We had a ball. She outdid herself. So Mother's Day, Grace says that a very traumatic thing happened when she was like about 14, and my niece was we were living in New York, and so we had Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day, and they came into my room at in the morning and had a chocolate cake with Happy Mother's Day written on it. You know, the kind that you get for birthdays?
Yes.
And I don't know. I try to make the most of, celebrating people. And I looked at them and I said, what is this?
They were like, well, Mom, it's the thought.
I know, well, Aunt Lynn, well, Mom, they were like, going to, oh my God. I said, there was no, and she said, it's the thought. I said, there was no thought put into this,
Oh my God.
But so after that, and every Mother's Day after that, and I do the same thing for her birthday. We just do that for each other. Mm-hmm. So this year I flew down to New Orleans, and she had arranged a boat to go out on Lake Pontchartrain. Mm-hmm. And like 4 of my friends, and she had champagne and she had food and she had all that. And it was just like the wind in our hair. So it was a really good one, particularly after COVID, just to be out on the water. And so she really outdoes herself every year with planning stuff. So it was a great Mother's Day.
So you taught her early, and so now she has to live up to the every year from the year before.
Well, no, it can be very simple, because flip side, I don't like get into the birthday thing too much. Like, okay, who's counting? I don't know. And she will try to plan these birthdays. I'm like, Grace, please don't do it. Because for me, it could be a great meal, or something she made with her hands, or it's really, putting energy and love into somebody. That's all celebrating them is, right? Like, really pumping through. I love you. This is how, something to keep forever. I have a Mother's Day card that Grace made for me when she was 12 in storage. It's like this big. I'll never get rid of it. So yeah, it's a kind of slippery slope of how you really put energy into loving somebody.
I'm with you on that one, because I with my daughters, I have 2, one's 26 and one's 24. I'm the same way. It's like, okay, if we go out to eat, fine, but don't do like parties and all that stuff, because then I got to sit around and smile.
Oh my God. And who knows if you feel like seeing some of those people that So it's like, please do not make big a big thing where it's a whole lot of other energies involved in the celebration, unless we signed off on it, girl.
Yes. Now, if it's people that I know and love, that's a different moment, but all that other extra stuff, I am not.
I know.
Yeah. So let me ask you, I want to tell you a funny story really quickly. The tail end of 2016 going into 2017, I was looking for a new agent. And I came across this young guy. When I say the name, you'll remember him. But his thing was, when he got through his roster and he got to your name, I said, okay, I want to have you represent me because I have to meet Lynn Whitfield. Like my dream was to work, like there's certain people like as an actor that it's like, oh, I would love to work with Felicia Rashad. I would love to work with Viola Davis. And you were on my list of like, I would love to work with Lynn Whitfield.
Look, your own show got us together. So there you go.
This is true. So if you think I won't slide in your DMs, you're highly mistaken.
Oh, yes. I'll be looking for you.
So I want to get into tonight's topic, celebrating the power of sisterhood. Now, I wanted to ask you specifically, how does it feel to have played the roles of such iconic women throughout your career? I mean, the list is long of these characters that we as a generation all know and love, and generations now are familiar with you through Greenleaf. And it's like, y'all don't know the half of what this was to the culture. So like, how does that feel to just know you're a part of that particular legacy in terms of Black?
You know, it's really gratifying for me because when I was a young girl in Baton Rouge, I knew that I wanted to act when I was like 5, somewhere between 5 and 8, I'm not sure. But what I also knew was that, and why I wanted to do it was I saw all these classic performances, classic performances by Cicely Tyson and Sounder, or Ruby Dee and the Jackie Robinson story, or Betty Davis and All About Eve and Audrey Hepburn and Breakfast at Tips. So all of that, and none of those stories or characters are like disposable. It's like people want to keep them. They want to revisit the story, and play it again. And so I just always wanted to do that. And I think, at this point, for how far I've gone now, because there's a lot more to go, as I tell, I'm not going anywhere. So I'm glad, you may be resting up on my shoulders, but hold on, don't fall off because I'm not done. I'm still moving forward. So up till now, I think I've been able to wrangle several of those that people want to revisit, and that for me is like, I just thank God for that because, honey, I'm like a jealous girlfriend. Don't be throwing me out to pasture and not coming back and checking on me.
Every person throwing you out, let me tell you, and people, and the roles that you played, like, I understand what you're saying. Like, there are certain things that it's like, well, let's revisit that. We remake that. We recreate it for the new gen. Don't touch a Lynn Whitfield role.
No, but on the contrary, I would love to see the next Josephine Baker story. They're about to do one. I want to see another angle. It's just that for what I did, people still want to go back and watch that. But I am all for moving forward because I couldn't play Josephine now at 17 to 76 the way I did. I was the perfect age to do that. But I'm all for seeing other interpretations and all of that. Just don't throw mine away. Just remember the original.
And I respect that. And I love that humility. But I'm going to go on record as saying that when it has been done extremely well, unless you're telling a different side, right? And I feel like yours spoke to so much of her life that it's like, well, what are y'all gonna tell us that Lynn didn't already, for instance, like the Billie Holiday story, right? Like, I felt like, please don't give me another Billie Holiday because Diana Ross did it well in Lady Sings the Blues. But then you have Lee Daniels come with the other side of that story.
Yes.
It makes sense. But don't give me the exact same story that I already saw. So unless they're going to do that, it's like, don't touch it. I mean, Lynn did it well, and it's just like a Thin Line remake. I said, please, no. We just want certain things. We just want those classics to live.
They just probably have to do, like Martin and I for where we are now.
Yeah.
But, because I think that would be really hard for people to get into. Though I am so excited because every Halloween there's like 3 or 4 people who will recreate the poster, and I'm like, ooh, cleavage, yes. Oh, it's still there. Okay. I'm not so worried, but
Yeah.
yeah, that would be hard to redo. Eve's Bayou is just what it is. But yeah, we're looking backward to the history. I'm very pleased with a lot of it, but I'm very antsy for the future and breaking some new, I want to do, I don't want y'all to get bored, and I don't want to be bored. So I want to, do some other things. So I'm just, trying to keep it all together so I can do it. Who knows? Maybe there's, a few more love scenes and a few more, romances of a certain age, and
do you think there's enough diversity in Hollywood as it pertains to the roles than before? Because I know when you started your career, there were limited amounts of roles for African American women.
I think that they're doing a great job. I mean, look at Black Panther and everything that Shonda Rhimes has been able to accomplish, and there's more to be had, because there's so many women to play in the world. There's so many specifics of humanity and so many genres, you know what I mean? So I would love to be like the boss lady in a 007, or, some kind of Esther, eccentric, woman, intergalactic something, or
I see you like in that Devil Wears Prada type of, because you do bad so good. You know what I mean? It's like you can really do that where we still love the character.
Well, here's the thing. Most people that we know and love have character flaws that really friggin' annoy us. There is no perfect person, And so if a person makes bad choices or choices that are selfish or narcissistic or whatever, I just try to make sure that you kind of understand a little bit of who that person is and why they might be making a bad choice, and it seems to work, and people, it's like, oh, y'all are cheering me on, so I don't know. It's fun. It's like like you're in a chemistry lab and you're just coming up with some smack to, just put out there in the world, and it's fun, and you just kind of see what resonates with people.
Now, I remember in 1989, The Women of Brewster Place. I'm old enough to remember that. And I felt like when I watched you ladies that, because we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, right? But we only see what plays out on the screen that we get to watch. And watching it felt like there was a real genuine sisterhood on that set. Is that accurate? What I felt like I was receiving, was that true?
Yes. And I think thanks to Oprah, loving this book and pulling it off the shelf and making it into a 2-part TV movie, we all, each character, I think they cast it so very well, so that each character was embodied by the actresses, and we were all committed. Though if you really look at it, we're hardly ever all together until we go to make our big statement.
Lynn, I have to take a quick break. Soulmates, you stay right where you are, because we have a lot more to talk about with Miss Lynn Whitfield when we return. Don't go away. Welcome back to Get Into It with Tami Roman. This, of course, is Fox Soul. And if you missed the top half of this interview, shame on you, because I am here with the extremely talented, beautiful, full of gems that y'all need to catch, okay? Miss Lynn Whitfield is in the building. Listen, Lynn, continuing the conversation, Now, Hollywood is a very competitive place. Like, you're up against your sisters all the time at every audition and things of that nature. How have you been able to find sisters and mentors that you could trust help navigate you through your career?
I don't know. I think it's just all a blessing. You know, you lead with the best you've got. And, you know, I think it's important to understand that every story isn't for you, you know, that there are roles that, you know, other people are destined to play. And I think it's also important to know that the best work happens when you're working toe to toe and working together. So I've been really fortunate that I was able to, you know, get nuggets of wisdom from Cicely Tyson, you know. And one of the last things she told me, she said, okay, you're doing really wonderful work. It's so good. Now you have to figure out how to make it work for you, specifically for you, you know. And I had time to sit with
How did you interpret that? Like, what did that actually translate to for you?
Well, you know, Cicely dropped that nugget. It was 2 years ago. And girl, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, Cicely said. So obviously, like, what I'm doing is good, but I've got to. So I interpreted that, you know, I've been able to contribute to many stories for many others. It's time for me to produce some of my own. It's time for me to enhance stories that are my own. I personally, and Cicely probably didn't mean it this way, but I interpreted it that it's time for me to connect more to my audience as myself, because people don't know my voice. They know Lady Mae Greenleaf's voice and Brandy Webb's voice and Ceely's voice and Roz Batiste from East Bayou. But to know me, because then, you know, then I think people find out, well, oh, she's really more earthy than that. She's not, she's, you know, warmer. I'm like, well, what the hell did y'all, I went to acting school.
Right.
It's called acting, doggone it. So yeah, but I was able to sit, you know, the women who went before me, like Ruby Dee and Cicely Tyson and Diane Carroll and Josephine Permise, who was a Broadway actress for the most part, to listen to their victories and maybe, you know, things that they might have done differently. You know, it gave me a lot of help when it came to raising Grace and being a working mom, you know, which I'm sure you know, experienced. They asked to interview me for a book that they're doing about actresses. And the final question, and I was surprised at myself at what it was what legacy do you want to leave? And what jumped out of me is that when I leave here, people actually know who I am.
Right.
Not just the characters I play. So social media is really key. You know, doing things like what I'm doing right now, you know, because those DMs might have come and I might not have even noticed or known what a DM is. Damn it. I'm like, what is that little signal? Oh, that's what that means.
Right.
Somebody's trying to talk to me.
Yeah.
There might be a fabulous date going on in there. I missed all of that. So yes, just being more accessible through social media and also, you know, like this over the quarantine, I've always loved skirts, and so I started making them and sharing my process and expressing expressing that, and you know, just talking to. So it's good for me because I don't want to be the characters that I've played were privileged that I carried them. I don't want to be walking around, you know, I want people to know who the woman is who carried these roles. I was privileged to carry them, but it goes both ways. And I think at the end of the day, it's really important that that they know me, because I think that will be inspiring for young actresses coming on, you know. That is better, that they know I make mistakes, I have regrets, I'm a real person, and a real person did this work that you might like, or or played that bad girl, but gosh, when we talk to her, that's not who she is. Right. It's called acting school, taking classes, thinking of roadmaps, so that's one way that I'm taking Cicely's advice. And the other way is crafting stories that I'm going to go out and pitch and see if I can sell them, and be, at the helm, in partnership with others who've, been doing this for much longer, that I can learn from and tell some stories that I care about.
That you care about. I love that. And I think that's so important, because there's no reason why we aren't making our own content, and putting our stories out there. I was going to say,
people are, though, but women are, they're doing it now. It is more, I'm inspired. I'm inspired by Viola. I'm inspired by Regina. I'm inspired by what other actresses are doing. So
that's what I mean, is that it's out there and we're witnessing it. So we've got to take the bull by the horns too.
Yes. Yeah. The more, the merrier, You
thought about directing?
I have. And I think what I'm most excited about is directing actors, not directing traffic. I really think I would be a really good actors director.
I do too.
And kind of, help to actors to build this magic. So yes, I'm thinking about it. But the thing, if you are on a set with a director, you will see the director of photography wants a question answered. The costumer wants a question answered. Actors will, people are coming at you from everywhere. It's like, I still have a lot of performances left in me. So I don't know if I want to be sitting back answering everybody else's questions, or having everybody get everything perfect so I can do it.
I said the same thing. I just executive producer project for the first time.
Yes.
I said, I always thought I wanted to EP something, because directing I don't like. I tried that and I don't like it. But I said, let me try the EP thing. And I said, I like just showing up, looking at my sides and being the character. I don't want to know all this budget stuff and have these neat I don't want it. So I totally understand that thought.
Yeah, I don't want any. Like I said, I'm still like a kid in a candy store about telling stories, and I know how much work it is to set everything for a story to be great. And so I think it just it's a matter of having the right team and choosing which projects you want to do what on.
Yeah. I believe that. And I am excited if that is the road that you take. Because like here again, I feel even like, I see a lot of actors and actresses teach at institutions where they're like, they have the actors, Felicia Rashad does that. And
Felicia Rashad has just taken on being the chair of the Fine Arts Department of Howard University.
Yes.
My alma mater, that is incredible to have such an elevated, celebrated performer go in, because I'm sure it'll be more hands-on, and how creatively she will, make it an experience for young people wanting to learn a craft, between, whether it be it painting or dancing or acting or whatever it is. So that's very exciting. Coaching I would do, for specific projects, or, private coaching. I think that would be that would be something that I would feel inspired about. Scene study. I love doing scene study, being able to give notes, and then they go off, and maybe a couple of weeks later we come back, or for monologues, all that. But just sitting like, okay, here's your relaxation exercise, and here's your this and that. It's like, no, don't want to do that.
So I'm gonna pry into your personal business, because like the people wants to know, are you dating?
No, where are you? I'm waiting for him. What are you doing? You're silly. I'm keeping it together. Make yourself known.
Yeah,
Come in.
what I'm saying is, we need to find, because how long has it been, Miss Lynn?
Uh, that I've really seriously dated.
Yes.
It's been a couple of years.
Okay, so then we need to let the men's know
And
that.
that was international dating. Well, I guess I think people, I don't know. The right person will be fearless and step on in. And at this point in my life, I want a joy, fun, companionship,
Mm-hmm.
somebody to hang out with. So, that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Because I mean, if you don't have all that and if you can't be friends, how can you be anything else?
True. Would you take a younger man?
Starting and and fabulous dinners and fabulous trips and fun.
Would you take a younger man?
If they have it all together, darling,
Mm-hmm.
at least 75% of it, at least enough that, it's not problematic very often,
Right.
So yeah, younger is fine because I think spirits meet, I
Right.
think if somebody's spirit matches yours, a sense, depending on who you are, like a sense of fun, having a strong, a foundation that like, okay, the basics are you're all good. And we're not thinking about, how you're going to make it in the world or any of that. I can't do any of that younger man things. But yeah, it just depends on, what brings out the best in you and you bring out the best in them and, have fun.
Yeah, because I got me a younger man and that he's 17 years younger than me. And that was the best thing I could have ever did for a lot of reasons.
You're having absolutely, I mean, sometimes my daughter will say, well, Mom, what about this? And I'm like, oh my God, Grace, I'm not going to be checking for their diabetes or looking at the blood pressure machine and taking, no, I'm not. It's just, I can't imagine it, so I've seen some of the most beautiful relationships with big age differences. And even, well, look at Tina Turner and her husband.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at that documentary, I mean, that is the most inspiring love story, So it's where spirits meet and where energy levels and all of that, where you keep going. Because I don't think anybody ever wants to be helping somebody get on their walker. But if you have to, after many, many years, but so I find a 20-year difference can be unnoticeable and very cool.
Yes. Okay. I thank you so much for coming to get into it. But before I let you go, I have fun with every guest, and we do something called Tammy's Fast Five. So I'm going to throw out 5 questions, and you just say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Where was the most fun you had on set?
In Budapest, Hungary. The banana dance, Josephine Baker, the one time that I could be on stage topless and not have anybody say I was, ratchet.
Yes. Understood.
It was so freeing.
Who would you want to play your on-screen daughter?
At this, my God, I've had so many great ones. They all getting older now. I think I could have fun with Yara. That would be fun now.
I think that'd be good. Yes. We talked about Sisterhood. Who's a fellow Black actress who you feel is doing great work and you want to shout out?
How many? Just how many? I don't know. I think that Andra Day did an amazing job. That she let Billie Holiday embody,
Yes.
She allowed that permission to go. Shout out to that performance. Incredible. If I can only have one for the performances of the year, that one I feel was just bold and without being she didn't push it. It was just there. It's like, here I am. Take it or leave it. This is who she was. Loved it.
Last one. What's your favorite sex position?
Actually, on top and very tight.
There's a couple. On top and very tight. Now listen, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. That was Miss Lynn Whitfield. Lynn, how can everybody keep up with you?
Oh, that's the last question you're gonna ask. That is so bad. Okay, so it's at Miss Lynn Whitfield across all platforms.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sure the soulmates, listen, y'all heard a lot about Miss Lynn today, and she's willing to open up and let you in even more. So make sure you go follow her at Miss Lynn Whitfield across all social media platforms. You guys, soulmates, stick around. We've got some questions that I've got answers to. Ask Tammy is up next on Fox Soul. Welcome back, soulmates. This, of course, is Get Into It. And you know what time it is? It's time for Ask Tammy. Usual, I am answering your short video questions about any issue that you may be having, relationship, family, work, friends, whatever. Now it's time to check out our latest video.
Hi Tammy, I'm Drea from Madison, and I just have a question. I need a little help. I've been dating this man. It's going pretty well. We're still in the early ages, but he took me to a little barbecue or whatever, and I met his dad, and we started talking, and honestly, I'm feeling his dad a little bit more than I'm feeling him, and I don't really know how to approach the situation. Like, do I just show up as his stepmom at the next event, or do I just tell him? Like, I don't know what to do. Please help.
Girl, if you don't go somewhere with this, okay, if you don't get on down the highway with this, first of all, you do not even know if the father is interested in you. So you would be causing dissension in that family dynamic because of your desires, right? So I think the best way to handle this is leave him alone and his daddy alone too. If you're not feeling him, then it's okay. We're not gonna feel everybody that we come in contact with. Get on down the highway away from him, and do not even entertain trying to be a part of the father's life, because that definitively is going to cause some issues within their family. It's not even a conversation that should be brought up. You know, it'd be different if, you know, you knew that the father was interested. Like if the father had approached you, then it's kind of like, hey, can we have a conversation because your dad approached me? And quite honestly, I feel like, you know, I might have more in common with him. And so maybe that's a way that I need to go in terms of this dynamic. But the father did not approach you. You just sitting back, you done had a conversation with the man at the barbecue and feel like he really the one. You can't do it like that, because that's going to cause problems. So I say, do not approach the father. Do not have a conversation about the father. And the young man that you do not like, let it go. That's it. That's all I got for you. Thanks for sending in that question, though, because I love when y'all send in things that cause me to think, because this is extemporaneous, okay? I don't watch these ahead of time. I come off the dome with my advice, and it be some good stuff, too. I be dropping some gems right off the dome. But if you want some advice on your relationship, your family drama, or a personal issue, send me a video. 1 to 2 minutes only, please. Email it to asktammy@foxsoul.tv, or you can post it on Instagram and use the hashtag AskTammy, and someone will see it from there and get it to me. Oh my goodness, you know what's coming up next. Woo, 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 woo. The Power Minute. We'll be right back. This is Get Into It with Tami Roman.
Like to go on dates, people automatically assume you're a gold digger or something. But for me, it's a guy actually saying, I want to get to know her and being thoughtful and trying to figure out where can he take me, whether it's a park or wherever, and get intimate time to peel back my layers versus, you know, whatever he sees on social media. So that's what I meant by date. Yeah. I appreciate those intimate moments with someone when you're not looking at your phone. I'm not looking for a seat filler. What I mean by seat filler, you not go sit in that seat and take up space and time that someone else can have. Because if you're sitting in that seat, guess what? Next man gonna walk past because he think I'm taking. So if you're not ready,
you got time to waste.
No time to waste. So if you're not ready for like what I have to offer, what I bring to the table, like a woman like me, I've worked hard to become the love I'm trying to attract, and so like that I'm just looking for someone to compliment all this hard work.
Because we don't want no seat fillers, okay? People needs to know that people is available. So if you are not up to par, get out that seat, child, so that they know they can sit down. Once again, that was another inspirational message for you, soulmates. Thanks for joining me today. And a special thanks to Lynn Whitfield for stopping by tonight. Now, of course, I'll be back next week, and we'll continue to get into it with more incredible guests. Until then, you guys head over to FOXSOUL's YouTube and check out my past episodes, okay? And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. Have a great evening. I'll see you all. Stay tuned. The Book of Sean is coming up next.